Welcome to AFM Pacific Magazine. I'm Lance Corporal Jacob Colvin. I'm in Sagamihara, Japan, where Exercise Force Flight 17-1 is underway.
Join the Marines in the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force through all the stages of this training. See what they did to build such strong bonds that will last a lifetime. Only on this edition of AFM Pacific Magazine.
Ohio gozaimasu. I'm here at Sagamihara, Japan, where Exercise Force Flight 17-1 is about to kick off. Marines and sailors team up with the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force to execute bilateral training. The Force Flight 17-1 opening ceremony included the two forces coming together for the first time in this exercise. The exercise consisted of Marine Corps martial arts program, mortar, sniper, close quarter, and air mobility training. 2nd Battalion 3rd Marines Commander Lieutenant Colonel Ryan M. Hoyle speaks about teamwork.
We must quickly identify our differences, find that common ground that will ensure that the 30th Regiment and the 2nd Battalion will emerge as a stronger team.
The ceremony was a chance for them to meet before they moved on to other activities.
After the opening ceremony of Exercise Force Flight, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force invited the Marines to break bread before the training starts the following day. Corporals Corey Warren and Anthony Rodriguez are excited to be here.
Just get to know these guys and learning stuff from them as they learn stuff from us.
Being able to work with a different group, haven't really worked with the Japanese before, so it's going to be pretty good.
The JGSDF pulled out all the stops for the celebration, from music to awards. But bilateral training is about give and take. 2nd Battalion 3rd Marines Commander Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Hoyle spoke about trust and partnership in the heat of battle.
But to build the trust required to be successful in combat, it's breaking of bread, sharing of drinks, and fellowship like we will carry out tonight.
The two forces spent the evening strengthening the bond between partners.
The team is well fed and ready to go, but there is still more work to be done the following day.
Exercise Force Flight started out with a show when Marines and Japan Ground Self-Defense Force taught each other how to use many different weapons. Since training starts the following day, both sides wanted to get up to speed. Lance Corporal Austin Cook explains.
We're giving a class today about our weapon systems. Me and Lance Corporal Henson he'll be talking about the 203, and I'll be talking about the GLS, which is the grenade launch site. It's pretty cool to get to come here and train with people from around the country, and pretty excited.
While the JGSDF soldiers spent the time checking out Marine Corps weapons, the Marines, like Lance Corporal Ryan Durden, were taking a look at their gear.
Yes, curious to see what all they can bring to the table and show us some different ways of training. Something different, something interesting.
The two forces spent half a day learning about each other's gear and weapons.
And now that they know, they'll move on to the fun part.
I'm here at Exercise Force Flight 17-1, where Marines and Japan Ground Self-Defense Force are teaming up to teach about their fighting styles. The Japanese taught Marines how they train their soldiers in close-quarter combat. The Marines observed first and then got the chance to try what they had learned. Squad leader Sergeant Billy Elliott shares his thoughts.
I feel like the Japanese training is very effective. They have a very good way of training. It's very similar to ours, just a little more. They start out a little bit more intense than we do.
That intensity was made through centuries of training. While the Marines thought it was similar, JGSDF Platoon Sergeant Master Sergeant Noriaki Kashiba disagrees.
Actually, I felt a little bit different the martial arts training between Japan and the United States.
Though the differences, the two forces got past them and punched out the first part of this exercise.
But this wasn't the only training happening that day. 1st Platoon was living the high life and zipped through some training of their own.
2nd Battalion 3rd Marines are swapping fast roping techniques with the JGSDF. The two forces' techniques are a bit different but work with their own advantages. 2nd Platoon Squad Leader Sergeant Zachary Hurst explains the differences.
Learning their way to break can slow us down so we can get onto theirs, and then learning how we lock out can help them save it, so if they're on a bird and that wind starts kicking, they won't fall off.
After the serious training was done, the two forces had a friendly competition to see which team could get finished first. Sergeant Hurst spoke about working with the JGSDF.
I think it's awesome. I love working with these guys. They're a great unit, very friendly and eager to work, and I look forward to doing more with them.
Each platoon rotated through each stage of the training depending on the day. The next day had this in store.
I'm here at Exercise Force Flight 17-1 where the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force are learning some shooting tactics from the United States Marine Corps.
The Marines are sharing what they do best, marksmanship. Machine Gunner Lance Corporal Jacob Schlack shares his experience working with the Japanese forces.
Working with Japanese forces has been a unique experience because they actually are very similar to us, and a lot of their tactics and just them as people share a lot of similarities.
While the Japanese learned some Marine Corps tips and tricks, they also taught the Marines a thing or two about friendship. Combat engineer Lance Corporal Justin McKinney appreciates the teamwork.
Oh, I love it. It's a great honor. They're really nice. They're very funny. I get to see what they do, what they get to try, and see how we can blend in our techniques, our tactics with the way they do things.
But they didn't stop there. After the live fire, they marched and marched and marched. But when they got where they were going, it was straight back to business. The two forces showed each other the way they secure a landing zone for extraction. U.S. Forces Japan Deputy Commander Major General Charles Sharati explains why this training is important.
Anytime we have the opportunity to train with our allies in peacetime, only prepares us for when we have to respond in time of crisis. So Force Light this year gives us the opportunity to bring not only the Marines off of Okinawa, but also to join them up here with the Ground Self-Defense Force in a scenario where we can practice techniques and procedures and really gain a level of understanding of each other's techniques and procedures to ready ourselves in the time when we may be called upon.
And what better way to be ready than to train for any scenario?
Here at Exercise Force Flight 17-1, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force are going over rappelling tactics out of the U.S. MV-22 Osprey.
The Land of the Rising Sun practiced MV-22 skills they could use when working with the Marines. Fast rope master Sergeant Matthew Bennett likes working with them.
They're very quick learners and they're all very respectful soldiers. So when it comes to learning new techniques that they're unfamiliar with, they pick them up quickly and they're always respectful towards not only their leadership, but the U.S. instructors that are trying to help them out.
2nd Battalion 3rd Marines Commander Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Boyle say their ability to learn techniques quickly will be helpful in future endeavors.
And so if the Japanese needed to, during humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, work alongside of us, then they're comfortable with that aircraft and can operate alongside us with it.
And with natural disasters prevalent in the region, more lives will be saved because of this training. Major General Sharati speaks a little bit more about the MV-22 Osprey.
As we've learned throughout these last couple of days in training with the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force, a greater appreciation exactly of how they can employ this asset.
And it didn't take them long to pick up the new skills that they had learned so that we would be better equipped for future operations. The bilateral partners spent 4 days cycling through each part of this training. Then they had a day to get ready for the final part of this exercise.
The Japan Ground Self-Defense Force and United States Marines go from one training area to another. I'm here at Sekiyama, Japan, where the two forces team up for a field training exercise.
After being dropped off by helicopter, the Marines hiked out and found a good position to dig in. Gulf Company Commander Captain Gerald No explains why this training is important.
This exercise helps readiness in the Pacific by increasing both of our capabilities and by understanding how they conduct business and how we conduct business will make our interoperability that much more effective and efficient.
That efficiency is shown by their ability to utilize cold weather gear that many of the Marines had not used before. As for the interoperability, Rifleman Lance Corporal Cody Carter shares his thoughts.
I don't know, I like getting out here, getting to see the world. Again, making more friends, getting to see new relationships blossom throughout the world.
And they strengthen those relationships with 2 days of hardships in this cold environment. Reporting from Sekiyama, Japan, I'm Lance Corporal Jacob Colvin. After all this, they traveled back to Sagamihara for a closing ceremony to wrap things up.
Company! Dismiss!
That does it for AFM Pacific Magazine. I'm Lance Corporal Jacob Colvin, and from all of us at AFM Pacific, thanks for watching.